Allow me to extend a warm welcome to all the viewers on the internet and around the world. It is sunrise on YouTube, morning on Facebook, noon on Twitter, midday on Threads, afternoon on Twitch, sunset on Instagram, and evening on Rumble. I am your host, the Ancient One, the Bachelor Supreme, the Phantom Menace, he who remains, and the master of the deceptive arts. We are broadcasting live directly from the sanctum of solitude and the citadel at the end of time. Good evening, everyone. I'm the Ancient One, the Bachelor Supreme. I'm the Phantom Menace, he who remains, and I am the master of the deceptive arts. And I return to you once more as the voice of the Vasectomites. And today, I wanted us to have a discussion about the serious issue, a grown-up discussion about the serious issue of female childishness, female petulance. In particular, their incessant, endless, and boundless, reckless abandon of the counterpart. Now, to give a proper scope and perspective of what we'll be discussing today, we need to know what the counterpart's petulance actually looks like in full detail and in light, and how it actually appears, right? So we need to look at it. I would say the word that I'm looking for is magnifying glass, right? In the light of day and under a magnifying glass, and look at it in terms of how it appears in terms of behaviors, as well as really how it is defined, the words around this type of behavior, childishness, petulance, and so forth. Then, once we have that, then we can discuss the issue of why it's problematic for you and why it's ultimately why female childishness or petulance is going to be an issue for you in the future. Petulance, which is defined as being childish, sulky, bad-tempered, or ill-tempered, right? Petulance often stems from entitlement. Now, entitlement is often misunderstood with the word deserve, right? So people might say, I'm entitled to this and I deserve this. And they may use those words interchangeably. But we need to look at each thing, as Marcus Aurelius teaches us. We need to look at each thing for what it actually is in and of itself. And thereby, we can contrast the nuances and differences of one concept against another concept. To be entitled, therefore, or to something, means to have a legal right, a legal claim, and authority over something else. So if you are entitled to an inheritance, that means you are either a blood relative or you are mentioned in the will of the deceased, right? You have a legal claim. You can stand legally and say, this is mine, this belongs to me, right? You have a right, a claim, and an authority. So not only can you claim the thing, rightly so, legally so, You can also decide what happens to that thing, right? That is entitlement. It means you have the right and the power to ownership and determination of something. That's a very different meaning to the word deserve. To deserve something means that you have done or you have acted in a way, right? Or you have or you have demonstrated or you have the ability to show. So you have done something, you have something, or you have demonstrated a quality that is worthy of either a reward or a punishment, um, you know, as deemed appropriate by the action. So you may have done something or demonstrated a quality where people will pay you a lot of money. So if you are tremendously beautiful, tremendously intelligent, tremendously talented, people may want to reward you for that. But if you are mischievous, underhanded, backstabbing, lying, cheating, two-faced, all the things that are the counterpart, you constantly contradicting yourselves. Those things some people may deem are worthy of punishment, and I am absolutely one of those people. As appropriate, right? As is appropriate. I think the appropriate punishment for the appropriate action, the appropriate reward for the appropriate action. Now, for this reason, looking at these definitions, the counterpart feels that while they may not have performed and may never perform, right? So not only have they not performed it, they may never perform or may have no intention of performing any actions that induce the reaction of reward. They do, however, feel that they possess or show, in other words, they can demonstrate within themselves the qualities that are worthy of a reward. Now, let's just dissect that for a moment, just that statement that I just made. The counterpart, part of the definition of deserve, is that you have to do something or show something. The counterpart has no intention of doing anything. When they take actions, their actions are quite frankly powerless, with no power for accomplishment, and perhaps not even the power to affect reality itself. Right? So what, instead of acting, instead of starting that company, building it up from the ground, becoming CEO by 34, getting your MBA, getting your economics degrees, making those right connections 10, 15, 20 years if it's necessary. They're not doing any of that. What they may do is they want to show you, right? So one way of showing that they deserve or that they have the qualities, they want to demonstrate the qualities that they deserve a reward. And they demonstrate those qualities through their appearance. So if they believe that they are attractive, they may want to make themselves more attractive, thereby demonstrating that they deserve a reward for being attractive, right? They have or possess something that's worthy of reward without taking any actions, right? Without taking any actions. If they believe that they, you know, are, while they may be mildly attractive, they're very smart. And if you see how smart they are, you want to reward them for that, right? So they may not show you that they're smart by demonstrating it in their own life, for instance, through their actions, running a company, and so forth. They may very well just tell you, oh, I'm worthy of a reward because I'm smart. Counterparts with degrees do this. Counterparts with degrees do this. They will get a degree and that's it, right? They don't expect to act beyond that degree. So what they're showing is, on the one hand, I will show you that I'm attractive. On the other hand, I will show you that I'm smart. Here's my degree. You must reward me. I'm not doing any more than this, right? So consider that. Consider that, right? By showing their attractiveness, by showing that they're smart, even if their smartness has only left them in debt, even though their attractiveness has only left them, with perhaps a fledgling child with no husband, right? The infamous baby mama or a single mother, regardless of the consequences of their actions or inactions and the outcomes. They believe just by the fact that they possess the capacity to take an action, whether they take that action or not, they need to be rewarded for the capacity that you believe they have, or the capacity that they may want to demonstrate to you that they have. So this is why when you are with a counterpart, she may desire to tell you about her ex-boyfriend who did certain things for her. This is an indication she's trying to show that she is worthy of reward, right? I have done this action. I have sat across a table and eaten a piece of chicken with somebody else, and I was rewarded for eating that piece of chicken. Therefore, you need to also reward me because I'm eating a piece of chicken with you. And they believe that as long as they have or possess these qualities, they should always be rewarded. And that is petulance. Furthermore, because they can demonstrate or show, not through actions, but rather through possessions, right? And pretense. So they possess something and they can act, right? Not act in terms of doing, but act in terms of performing, right? So the word act is a little ambiguous, right? So there's actions in terms of doing, and then there's acting in terms of performance art. And that's what they're doing. It's a performance art. And when you see through it, as I have, when you stand there and you look at the performance art as a performance art, it is sickening. It is desperate. It is pathetic. It is vile. And ultimately, you just end up just having no desire to encounter or to deal with the counterpart, right? As you may deduce from my own sentiments. Now, there's some people who might say, "Oh, well, ancient one, you don't have enough experience with women." Oh, but ancient one, you haven't dated long enough. Oh, but ancient one, you haven't been married with kids. Man, shut the hell up. Nobody cares what your struggles were, what you've been through. I don't care about your struggles any more than what you care about my struggles. But if you are incompetent enough to think that just because somebody is sick and tired of pizza, it's an indication that on the one hand, they've either never had a pizza, or on the other hand, all the pizza that they've had is terrible. It could just very well be that the person had so much pizza and they decided, you know what, let me find out how this pizza is made. And when they saw the ingredients of the pizza, they were like, I'm not eating this rubbish. That is my experience with women. And I don't need anyone trying to tell me what I have and what I haven't done. Go bend the knee and go see for yourself. And I've said it, if I've said it one time, I've said it a million times. Divorced men make the best, most committed, most determined bachelors. The men who have had women the most and for the longest are the ones who want nothing to do with them because we've seen it all. Now, I haven't been married, thank God, because I've seen enough without getting into the dark dimension. So, for those of you who believe that you have to go all the way through to the process to realize that you're suffering, be my guest. Be my guest. And when they hit you with that child support, I promise you, not a single moment of sympathy from me. I feel nothing for men on child support. Not a thing. I could care less about how much they're charging you. And anybody that's paying child support for less than $1,500, I want you to know that I think you're paying too little. I don't care what your salary is. I don't care what your salary is. A vasectomy is $1,550. $1,550, right? That's how much a vasectomy is. If you have a kid, you should be paying $1,550 every single month as an indication of your incompetence because you should have got a vasectomy. But you didn't get a vasectomy, instead you got child support. Now you're talking about experiences with women. Man, go pay your child support. Don't you have towels to fold? Don't you people have towels to fold? Instead of coming here talking about the ancient one got no experience. I could care less about your life experience. Really, I'm just here to talk about and promote a vasectomy so that people don't have your life experience. This is exactly the point of it. What I'm trying to avoid is to get intelligent, competent, capable men who have the ability to reach success, who have the ability to reach success at any age to avoid being like you, who bent the knee. All right? And let's continue about these counterparts to whom you will bend the knee. All right? Now, as mentioned, the counterpart demonstrate through performance, right, that they have these qualities. And by merely demonstrating this, they believe that they are entitled, right? So on the one hand, they believe that they deserve, right? Because they've demonstrated, therefore they should receive a reward. And through that demonstration, this is where the entitlement comes in, right? This is where the entitlement comes in because now they believe that they have a right, a claim, and authority over the reward. This is what entitlement is. So on the one hand, they come in to show their appearance and to demonstrate whatever meaningless accomplishment they have. I have a degree in, I don't know, TikTok. I have a degree in TikTok, and I'm proud of my degree. Reward me. Oh, I have beautiful long hair. Reward me. Oh, I put on makeup and didn't ruin it. Reward me. Right? And I put on the makeup. I have a degree in TikTok, or rather, let's say I have a degree on YouTube. Right? I'm a YouTube specialist. I have a PhD in YouTubeology, and therefore you have to reward me. You don't know who I am. We never met. We got no history. The fact that I'm here is an indication that I deserve a reward. Not only that, the fact that I came here gives me a right, a claim, and an authority over that reward. So not only should you pay me, you should do what I want you to do with your money. You see, now my money is my money, and your money is my money. This is how the counterpart works, right? And they have this claim, right? Having produced absolutely nothing other than themselves, which also you have to remember they didn't actually produce. Two other people produced that. So they want a reward and they feel entitled to that reward for absolutely no reason. More so, since they possess these so called qualities within them and were born with them, rather than having earned them, right? So they just come in as they are, and you have to love, appreciate, and reward them just by standing there, breathing air. Just by standing there and breathing air. And just because they receive these gifts at birth, whatever gifts you think they have, smart, beautiful, attractive, funny, charming, whatever it is that you find meaningful about her, right? You must understand that they believe that they were born, right? That they believe that they are entitled to these rewards as a birthright by the mere virtue of existing, the mere virtue of their existence is an indication that you should reward them with no work and no effort on their behalf. Right? They want to be praised and rewarded and appreciated and adored and loved, right? And revered in every possible way, and then remunerated and praised, and paid, I beg your pardon. They want to get money and homes and assets, all because they exist and have the capacity to live. Living like this is obviously a problem. It's going to be a problem because it often leads to carelessness and reckless abandon, and ultimately destruction. Even the pretense of reckless abandon can lead to catastrophe. Right? Reckless abandon means to give yourself over, even for an instant or a moment or a certain amount of time. You give yourself over to an impulse or a passion, and thereby taking action or being involved in an activity. So you've given yourself to whatever impulse you have, emotion, anger, frustration. And then you get passionate about it, and then you get involved in some type of activity. It's always nefarious activity, which includes either intimacy, alcohol, substance abuse, violence, or breaking the law in other way. It's always these five things. It's always these five things. People don't, have reckless abandon and then go and take a nap. No, right? So, and they do this with no care of the results, of the outcome, or the consequences. And naturally, those outcomes and consequences are going to be catastrophic. And this is what you must be aware of when dealing with a counterpart. The day or the moment that they decide to give themselves over to an impulse or a passion, because that is always the wrong move, right? It's always going to be the wrong move. And they're always going to do it at the wrong possible time or the worst possible time. Just know that the counterpart is just waiting for the worst possible time so they can act a fool, right? And I say act again because I want to imply performance art. Because here is the problem right here that I have with the counterpart, with their pretense of reckless abandon and their pretense of petulance, right? As a whole, especially adult petulance, right? Because for me, it indicates one of two things. On the one hand, it always indicates deception. Every time I see a grown woman over 18 years old, now I don't usually deal with the teens and I try to stay away, but I'm going to put 18-year-olds into this. Every time I see anyone that is outside of high school, let's say outside of high school, so let's make it 19. I don't really like to deal with these people. I have nothing for them. I have nothing for them. All my issues are adult-based issues. Go and play with your toys or whatever you people play with. Do people still play with toys? I have no idea, right? When an adult, anyone outside of high school, behaves in a petulant way, especially a counterpart, it always reeks of deception, right? And I say this for this reason. When an adult can maintain a job, they can go to work every day, they can build a career for 15 years, 20 years, they can raise children, they can pay bills and pay taxes. This is an indication to me of a person who is in absolute control. These are people who can get degrees and have relationships with their colleagues, right? And professors that are really not disgusting and despicable in any way, right? These are people who, by all accounts, are completely under control, right? You work with them, you see them every single day. Perfectly normal person, right? But then suddenly, out of nowhere, this person has these moments of reckless abandon. And these moments of reckless abandon always happen outside of an exam room. They never happen during exams when the marks are critical. They never happen at work where you want a raise. They never happen during your graduation when you're up on stage, right? These moments always happen somehow when you're in a relationship. When you're in a relationship with these people, then they act a fool. And for me, it's always a deception. This is why people would meet their counterparts and their wives at work. Because the person that you meet at work is spectacular. But you walk out of there and they're acting like a complete catastrophe in every regard, right? And it's very frustrating to me. It tells me that this is a deception, right? To me, this this contrast in behavior indicates a contradiction because it indicates a choice. It indicates a choice in behavior. You choose to act one way with those people, and you choose to act a completely different way with me. And I've seen this happen. I was in a situation several counterparts ago where we had actually met in work. Now, I have one rule when it comes to dating and work. Don't do it. Don't do it. But this counterpart and I happened to be dating before, right? And things were okay. We had dated before, and she had an opportunity to join me at a work which I don't work in anymore and will never return to for many, many reasons. But all the problems began when the counterpart arrived, right? And I saw this change in contrast instantly, and I called it out, and I'm the kind of person to do this. The counterpart, we would go to work and be completely fine all day long, in the morning, all day, no problem. And then we would go do some shopping, and everything would be okay. And we would drive home, and I mean the second we walked into the house, she would have something to say. Oh, I didn't like this and this and this about what you said. And I said, what? I said, stop right there. I said, I watched you act like a model citizen all day long. And the minute we walk into this house, suddenly you want to pick apart things and you have a problem. Suddenly, everything that was perfectly good is now a problem. This is a switch. This is a switch because tomorrow morning you're going to wake up, go to work, and be perfectly normal and act like a completely different person to what you're doing now. I said, this doesn't make any sense. I said, this doesn't make any sense. You know, like, why not act like that over here? Why not go there and act a fool and come here and act like a normal person? Why am I the one receiving, the bottom of the shoe? Why am I receiving the bad end of the deal? No, 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 no. I'm the ancient one. You don't give me the attitude. You give them the attitude. I want all the good stuff. That's what I said. I said, no, 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 no. I deserve the good stuff. Look what I've done for you all day long, every day. Just for you to come here and give me your attitude while I just watched you act like a model citizen all day, every day with everyone else? No, no, no. I didn't deserve this. How are you a graduate, a professional, right? How are you a parent on the one hand, accomplishing things, but then a immediate switch? I mean, you say your friends love you, you say your family loves you, you say everything is going great. But in your relationships and in your marriage, you're a complete catastrophe. You're a mess. Suddenly you don't know how to act, you don't understand words, you can't pick up things after yourself, don't shower, don't bath, but the minute it's time to go somewhere, oh no, 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 you want to look good, you don't want people to think bad things about you. What? That don't make no sense. You don't want them to think bad about you, but I'm the one receiving the 4-day pajamas? No, 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 I'm not doing those 4-day pajamas. No, no, no. I'm getting me a vasectomy. That's what I did. That was my ultimate move. I was like, it's either I bend the knee to these people or I get a vasectomy. And I went straight, got myself a vasectomy. Started a whole channel, right? So you know what my choice was under those circumstances, right? How do these two very opposite expressions of personality exist simultaneously? One of them has to be fake. One of them has to be a performance. And I would argue it's the one where you cannot sustain. Right? The one that you are able to sustain, you can get your degree, you can pay your bills, you can go to work, you can build your career, you can earn a salary, you can run a business. That's sustainable. That's your true pattern in life. When you come out here acting a fool just because it's evening, just because it's after hours, no, 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 no. I'm not having that. I'm really not cool with any of that. Right? And there are some counterparts that demand or believe that it is your job, that it is that they deserve and are entitled to you rewarding them for this bad behavior. No, no, no. I rewarded myself with a vasectomy, knowing that one mistake, I would be stuck dealing with this petulance forever. The second problem I have with this is that it indicates not immaturity or delusion, as some might think or even imply, but rather it demonstrates a particular type of weakness. It shows a weakness and a desire to surrender, right? I'm aware, I have to be honest, that many counterparts and knee benders are having a very particular type of problem in this day and age. And that problem is called the economy. And while I may not have the exact terms, but I'm going to put it in my own words. I'm going to say that the economy is whipping you. The economy is whooping you like a child raised in the 1980s. The economy is whipping you like a tired, old, and cantankerous mule. The economy is beating you like a punching bag in a sweaty and stuffy, humid gym. And you would love nothing more than to surrender. This economy is thrashing you, it is battering you. You are being pummeled and drubbed, right? The word is, it is giving you a drubbing. And it is drubbing you into oblivion. And there is nothing you can do. And all you want to do is hide. All you want to do is disappear. And since you cannot disappear from the reality that is your life and your existence, the constant failure to receive these rewards that you believe that you are so due because you're lazy. And people only pay you for what you do, not for who you think you are. And since you don't want to do anything, the economy is going to keep pummeling you. It is going to keep pummeling you because you don't want to produce. You don't want to make videos every day. You don't want to go to work every day. You don't want to work that overtime, that extra time, every single time. All right, so you want to run instead. You want to disappear into yourself and into your mind. You start to seek out good memories of when you didn't have no bills. And if you did have any bills, those bills weren't your problem. Those bills were somebody else's problem. Those bills were your daddy's problem. You remember when you were a little girl, daddy's little girl, daddy's little princess. And when you were everybody's favorite, you remember that? When you walked into the room and the adults stopped talking and all they wanted to do was pick you up because you were so cute and adorable. But you're not cute and adorable anymore. You're old now. You're nobody's favorite. You're nobody's favorite. You used to be like a Disney princess. And just like that, the memory of your old self drives you insane. Because at work, you have to keep it all held inside. That princess has to stay inside. And when you come home, all you want to do is to let that little girl out. But that little girl met her demise 20 or 30 years ago. And now you are suffering what we call the princess syndrome. The princess syndrome, where on the one hand, the years have gone by, and here you are trying to act like a teenager, trying to get somebody to pay your bills. No. It's a full-on deception. For me, I see either a deception, a weakness, and cowardice. On the one hand, you have no choice but to pay those bills, so you pay them. But then on the other hand, all you do is act like a vile, petulant, belligerent, ungrateful child. And don't even get me started on the ones who say they can pay their bills. We have the statistics, and I quote them all the time. The counterpart can only pay 16% of the bills, and they can only do that 16% of the time. If she's paying all her own bills, it's all debt. And this is the petulance and childishness that you have to deal with, because ultimately, if you take on these responsibilities, you're going to get somebody who really just wants to sit and play with dollies all day and be like a little princess. And every time she walks into a room, you have to be excited to see her, even in those 4-day pajamas. So let's have a look at exactly what petulance, adult female petulance and childishness looks like. They call it the princess syndrome, which is the disease of thinking of yourself as a princess. Now, here we're talking about adults. So these are adults who see themselves in a particular way. They think they're princesses. They either wake up on one day they're the princess and want to be spoiled, and the other day they're the queen and want to take charge. This comes from Amend Care, and their website is amendcare.net. It didn't. I didn't get this information from their website. That's their website, but I got it from LinkedIn.com, and LinkedIn.com told me that amencare.net had written and published this information on the 13th of March, 2024, and that's where the information for the majority comes from. I have in the parenthesis some information that I added that doesn't come directly from the article, but it is worthwhile. This information says Princess syndrome refers to individuals, often women, who expect special treatment, excessive excessive admiration, or privileges without putting in proportional effort. I would say without putting in any effort. Right? So they want all this great stuff for doing absolutely nothing. According to Dr. Rajendra Moore, PhD, it often stems from I believe it's a PhD in psychology, right? It often stems from a childhood marked by excessive pampering, external validation, and social media's portrayals of idealized princess figures. So there you go. It starts really from childhood, right? So every little girl wants to be a princess, and every father wants to convince their child that they are, even though obviously they are not. And then when they get into adulthood, all of that goes away. And if they have children, that princess treatment goes straight to the child. And if you're wondering why sometimes certain parents, may exemplify behaviors of resentment towards their child, it's because the child is taking all the attention from them. Right? They want to look good, they want to be appreciated, they want special treatment and excessive admiration, and it all goes straight to their child. Right? And later, when their child comes of age, becomes, in their 20s, a full grown woman, you are now of grandmotherly age, and the child continues to get admiration, gifts, and so forth, while you are relegated to, I don't know what you're relegated to, right? Grandmotherly role, right? Everybody sees you as the grandmother and definitely not the princess. And then, of course, let's not forget the social media fakes where people are all, it seems the whole world somehow managed to get their hands on luxury vehicles, at least long enough to be able to shoot a video. Right. What you're seeing, people, is for the majority of the part are not people who own cars. It's just people standing next to cars. Right. And that's a completely different thing. While anyone can exhibit the traits, most often you will see this common amongst individuals raised in environments where they were shielded from responsibilities or constantly praised without accountability. Just listen to that. People who are shielded from responsibilities, unlike me who shields myself, right? You were shielded by others, which means that other people took responsibility for you while you were able to act a fool, right? And then they praise you. Then they praise you for your misbehavior, right? Psychologists link this syndrome to narcissistic tendencies, a fear of failure, and an aversion to criticism. Wow, that tells you everything, right? So I felt that this definition was or this expression, this meaning here, was very, very important in understanding the type of person that you're dealing with. Now, this is something that just keeps itching in my mind, and I'm just gonna go ahead and address it because I'm waiting for the ideal moment, and it's just not coming. The single most petulant, childish thing that you will ever see is a birthday party. There is nothing that says childish person than a person, a adult, a grown man or grown woman who celebrates their birthday. I mean, you have the hat, you have the balloons, you have the candles. You got 50 candles. You're going to start a fire. For a 4 or 5 year old, you can only have 5 or 6 candles. That's fine. They blow them out and it's over quickly. For a 50-year-old, you need a whole bonfire. For a whole 40-year-old, how many candles is that? Who's going to light up 40 candles? Just think about how ridiculous that is. You ever seen birthday parties in a corporate environment? They are just the most miserable things you've ever experienced. They are pathetic. Oh my God. These grown people sitting around a room with voices as deep, as dark, as penetrating as mine, singing, and I'm not going to sing it, but I'm going to say the words. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear ancient one. Oh, happy birthday to you. Hip, hip, hooray. Are you kidding me? I hate everything about that song. I hate the way it sounds. I hate the lyrics. I hate the tone. And I hate mostly when people sing it at work. It is drudged out, it is lame, it is boring. And then we're all dressed for work in our ties and our suits and our shirts. And then we gotta put on those stupid hats. It looks so out of place. And as soon as we're done, we pack everything up and throw it all away and clean it up like nothing happened. Birthdays are terrible. I cannot remember the last time I celebrated. Oh, yes, I do. Actually, I do remember the last time I celebrated a birthday. I was with a counterpart. I was with a counterpart. She had a whole cake and everything. Like, as a man, think about this. When it's your birthday and you're not in a relationship, what are the chances that you'll have a cake? 0%. You're not going to buy a cake. You are not going to buy yourself a birthday cake. But with a counterpart, there's a cake every birthday, every year, every time, everywhere you go. If she has a birthday party every single day, she's eating cake every single day. Our birthdays are terrible. Who came up with this? This is just a marketing idea, by the way, let me tell you. It's just a marketing idea to sell people things. If you're wondering why we celebrate birthdays, it's so that parents can shell out extra money random days of the year buying things, quite frankly, that are going to end up being tossed or destroyed. But birthdays are a terrible idea. For adults, oh, nothing could be worse. There's nothing worse than seeing a grown man with gray in his beard and a pot belly and a double chin sitting there waiting to blow candles out with balloons and prezzies. You seriously getting prezzies at 35, 40 years old? And then you know what happens. When you don't participate in this foolishness, oh, they hate you. Oh, they hate you. If you want somebody to hate you, ignore their birthday. 55 years old, 45 years old, talking about it's my birthday today and you didn't say happy birthday to me. How ridiculous. You people should be ashamed of yourself. If you are celebrating birthdays, after I'm going to say 21, I'm going to say we need to shut this whole birthday thing down at 21 years old. You want to celebrate your birthday? You go sit there on a park bench or somewhere, you watch the sunset on your birthday, and you move on with your life. The day is over. Some people spend weekends, days celebrating their birthday. Oh, you know what's ridiculous? When your birthday is in the middle of the week or in the middle of the month and you're broke and you can't celebrate your birthday on your birthday. So you gotta wait till you get paid. Oh, that's pathetic. You wait till you get paid to celebrate, or you wait till the weekend and you're like, oh, it's my birthday weekend. No, it's not. Your birthday was 4 days ago. Your birthday was on Tuesday and you're celebrating on Saturday. No way. No way, man. You should have just accepted that slice of cake at work and moved on with your life. Now you're waiting 3 days. I'm going to have a party on Saturday. Now everybody's gotta come out to your 40-year-old party. We all wanna, we should be at home chilling, so we're all planning to be at bed by 10. So we all wanna say goodbye by 9:30. Amen. Listen, happy birthday. I hope you have a great day. 10 o'clock, everybody's gone home. It is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. If you are still celebrating your birthday, you got 3 kids, and you have the audacity to tell these people to stop living their lives so they can sing happy birthday, dear mommy. No, man. No, no, no. It doesn't even mean the same thing to you. It means nothing to you. How many days on this earth have you seen? Thousands. Thousands of days, and they are all the same. But you think your birthday that was 4 days ago is supposed to mean something? It was 4 days ago. You waited 4 days so we could sing this stupid song to you? Come on, man. Come on, come on, come on, guys. This birthday thing, it's been in my heart for a long, long time. There are people who don't even know when my birthday is. I've had one birthday on a weekend. My entire 100-year lifespan, I had one birthday that was actually on a weekend. And I took the time to look up when the next time my birthday might land on a Friday or a Saturday. Decades. It's decades. I was like, I will never see another birthday on a Saturday again. And I realized most people don't either. It's rare where you get your birthday on like 2 years, your birthday is on Saturday and Sunday. You get one Saturday, the next time it's on a Monday, for sure. For sure. So, stop celebrating your birthday, man. It's ridiculous. And you know I'm right. And after you hear this, oh, when you blow those candles out, you're gonna know, when you hear that birthday song and they sing it with that monotonous, unexcited voice, just lame, and you gotta sit there, and it's the longest 35 seconds of your life. And then they clap. They sing that nonsense and then clap for themselves. Oh, a ridiculous process. The whole thing about birthdays is ridiculous. The whole thing about birthdays is ridiculous. For children, I can understand, but for adults, you need to take a moment and think about what it is that you're actually doing. Let's continue with the article. Is the meeting of the princess only in the alleys of fairy tales? No, even around us, but the princess-like attitude can be seen. I'm just going to continue. I feel like I read that all wrong. Whether one thinks of them as princesses or not, these princesses, in inverted commas, are the center of everything, or so they think. They also harbor the unrealistic notion that everyone should be given what they want. No, 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 no. They don't think that everybody should be given what they want. They think that they themselves should be given what they want, right? But the rest of you, she would rather you come ask her for things so she can say yes or no. Interestingly, even though the name is Princess, um, this thing does not only happen to women. There is also a name for men called Prince syndrome. Oh, I never heard of that. I thought they were gonna refer to the Peter Pan syndrome, right? Where men are accused, some men, not bachelors like myself, of immaturity, name calling, right? That kind of thing. I don't know why they would dream of associating that with somebody like me. Especially things like narcissism. I mean, do I sound like a narcissist? Me? Narcissist? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I am the picture of humility. I put the hum in humility, you know? Let's continue. Humbly, right? But there you go, Prince syndrome. I'm going to look that up and see what that's about. Possibly couldn't be associated with narcissism. And of course, you would never dream to associate that type of insanity with a person like yours truly. It continues to say, but it is not as widely known as the syndrome in women. This is due to gender stereotypes or molding. What is princess syndrome? Princess syndrome, also called princess sickness, I've also heard it called, by the way, Disney princess syndrome, is the ultimate form of narcissism and self love. I don't have a problem with self love. I'm all about that self love. I wonder if I'm suffering from Prince syndrome. Perhaps. Narcissism, I tick all those boxes very quickly. Every single sentence in the expression of narcissism describes me. It's really troubling. I mean every single aspect. It's like they just molded that thing around me. Like I see myself in the definition, and that's troubling, like the textbook definition. That says a lot. But self-love, that's all me. Loving yourself and wanting your best is one thing. It is indeed. But it is not customary to fully believe that all good things are due to him alone. Right. So yes, I mean, I'm not so egotistical to believe that all good things come from me. But okay, fair enough. This is the princess syndrome. People who suffer from this problem think everyone should drop everything and focus on. I think they meant them, because they say him, but princess syndrome has to do with ladies. I'm going to read this again for my own satisfaction. But it is not customary to fully believe that all good things are due to her alone. This is the princess syndrome. People who suffer from this problem think everyone should drop everything and focus on them now. Princess syndrome is not exactly a mental disorder. Really? It's a syndrome, but not a disorder. Interesting. Extreme forms of narcissism, which is a disorder, can result in symptoms, which is a syndrome, that cause discomfort to oneself and others. Um, let's see. Let's continue and see what more they have to say. Some common characteristics of Princess syndrome that remain in people, uh, in such people are, by the way, ultimate self centeredness. Oh, this is me. This is me, or this is what I was concerned about. That as I was going through this article, I'd see the finger that I'm trying to point at you, I'd see that finger pointed back at me. I told you that words have a funny way of coming back at you. My words always come back at me sometimes almost instantly. It's annoying. It's annoying, but it happens often enough. I guess I get used to it. You use the power, it can be used against you too. Ultimate self centeredness. Yes, me. People with this syndrome like to talk about themselves all the time. What? No, no. I just talk about vasectomies. I mean, talk about my vasectomy and the power of that vasectomy. But this isn't just about me, it's also about you. They have little need to know or understand others. Oh man, this is me. They think their minor problems are more significant than the big problems of others. A vasectomy is not a minor problem, it is a major solution to problems, right? It's a major solution to problems. It is expected that everyone will pay attention to his or her problem. No, not everyone, just every man who needs a vasectomy, which is 98% of you, right? This is understandable. Perfectly, perfectly reasonable. Number two, intense desire to be the center of attention. I don't know if I want to be the center of attention. I am the master of the deceptive arts. I did keep my face off the internet. I'm hoping that the topic will be the center of attention, and I'm just here to to be the voice of the center of attention. Not the same thing. They become restless if they do not see themselves as a center of attention in any relationship or social setting. No, not every social setting. However, if we are having a discussion about family and I happen to drop a vasectomy, it's not my fault if suddenly the conversation and the mood changes, right? Not every setting. Not every setting. They constantly strive to attract attention and keep themselves relevant. You mean like trying to put out a daily video? Is that an attempt to become relevant? Perhaps, perhaps. But surely they're not talking about me. This isn't about me. This is about you, the counterpart. You have princess syndrome, not me. I'm wonderful. Number three, no satisfaction at all. Oh, I just had to call myself wonderful and then read that. Ah, this is coming back to me. Okay, so I have a satisfaction. I have a satisfaction. Look, a point of satisfaction. There are 98% of men in the world who don't have a vasectomy. If we can get 75% of them, I'll consider that satisfactory, right? It isn't enough to satisfy such people. The longer their list of needs, the shorter the level of satisfaction. I don't have a list, I just have a standard. What Ravi Tagore said many years ago: woe to those who want more in this world. There are those who want more. Also apply. Woe to those who want more in this world. There are those who want more. Is that the full quote? I think that's the full quotation. I get the first part, and I just don't get the second part. Though there are those who want more. I was expecting like to be hit with like a metaphor or something that makes me think a deep and profound thought. He just sort of repeated the same thing he had said in a quotation, you know. But like what they say, if you can't find the words yourself, quote somebody else. Um, it also applies to these era princesses. It isn't easy to please them. There are some grammatical issues, perhaps in my reading or in the writing, but we will continue with confidence. Yes, these princesses are never satisfied. They will never be satisfied. They just will always want more and want more and want more, and they give nothing in return. Nothing frustrates me more than that. Nothing frustrates me more than that. Yes, we all want something. I'd like my message to thrive and for people to hear it and to embrace it as I have. And I want to not only be an example, but I want to be a living embodiment of the philosophy that I put forward with all of its flaws. Yes, I know the philosophy is flawed. It's still developing, but the procedure is perfect, right? So yeah, satisfaction. Satisfaction is like beauty, man. It's in the eye of the beholder. Number four, every criticism is a personal attack. Now, personally, I try not to take criticisms personally. You know, I mean, I've been called every name under the sun, and you just sort of just move on, man. Get a vasectomy, and then none of those things will matter. But for these princesses, now making this all about me. Oh, I am a narcissist, aren't I? you know. Anyway, for these princesses, every criticism is a personal attack. People with the princess syndrome cannot take criticism. They consider any criticism an attack from the other side and react accordingly. Yes, these princesses hate to be told the reality of their situations, and I blame the fathers. It's really the father's fault for lying to these people. Are you going to tell an average person that the daughter of a plumber, you tell her she's a princess, and now she's trying to live out the delusion that you put out in her mind. Because of this, they are often seen getting involved in quarrels. Oh yes. Or when people have had enough with these princesses, it's always a fight. It's one thing when you're still trying to entertain them and you think there might be some value to them. But once you've had enough and they keep acting out, and they're going to tell you, oh, this is my real personality. You're 40 years old and you have the personality of a teenager. That's unacceptable. That's really unacceptable. You need to let that go. Otherwise, it's always a quarrel. And perhaps this explains my quarrels with the counterpart. Because I really don't like that princess, that performance. I really don't like it. I don't like that you can act perfectly fine at work and like a complete degenerate at home. Right? To me, that stinks of deception. I just sense deception right away, especially if it's not constant. Like if you have problems at home and you're dissatisfied and the dissatisfaction is constant, okay. But when there's no problem, and you just sort of have to come up with problems over and over and over again, and those problems are unfixable, then it's like, why must I entertain a problem I can't fix? That's a waste of my time. Number five, causes of princess syndrome. However far the branches of a person's behavior may spread, it must be remembered that its seeds are often sown in childhood. So the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Humans cannot very well extricate themselves from growing up, whatever positive or whether positive or negative, I beg your pardon. For people with princess syndrome, their growing up time is also essential here. This can happen for two reasons. The first is that if parents, I told you about these parents, I keep telling you about these fathers. You got a princess in your life that won't act right. The, the father is the problem. I'm telling you, it's the father. He's the one that convinced her and indulged her more than necessary while they were raising them as the child. If they accept all obligations, this is the parents, and indulge in stubbornness, the child grows up and starts expecting it from everybody else. This is the entitlement. They believe they have a claim, a right, and authority to behave as they do and then be rewarded. And it all starts because the father not only lied and told her that she was something that he not, he then persisted and then indulged her on it. But not just the father, the school, the teachers, the people in the shops. When little girls buy something and then you give them like a little sweet. Here's a little sweet little girl. Have a lovely day. And then she's got her little lollipop, and then she goes prancing. I don't know what young girls do. They go prancing around to go play with dollies. I don't know, or go knit doilies. Maybe do people still knit doilies? I don't know. But the reason, this is problematic. You give her that sweet, yes, it's a kind gesture, but it just reinforces what the school tells her, what the parents tells her, what a religious institution tells her, what society tells her, that hey, it's not enough for you to spend money, get the product that you want, and then get the change that you deserve. You deserve an extra treat because you exist. And now they're expecting this from everybody else. He keeps hoping that everyone will see him like this and accept him. Or I think it means she, because we're talking about a princess, right? But he says he. They wrote he here. But yes, they keep hoping that everybody sees them the way that the father will see them. And the father hopes that everybody will see their daughter the way he sees them, right? So he sees a princess, she thinks is a princess. Now you are supposed to reinforce that delusion and say she's a princess, whereas he's a plumber and she is broke. Parents will love their child, make wishes, and give various gifts. This is normal. Yes. I don't know what they mean by make wishes, but I think they say make wishes come true. So parents will love their child, try to make their wishes come true, and often give various gifts as a normal act and a normal gesture of kindness and affection. But it must not be forgotten that anything over necessity can corrupt a man. This is some type of philosophy. Anything over necessity can corrupt a man. That's an interesting take. A second possible reason is the opposite. Suppose a child does not receive the necessary care within the family. In that case, he or she develops a kind of self-boosting defense mechanism to protect himself or herself, which can result in a situation like princess syndrome. That's very interesting. That princess syndrome is not just an act of entitlement, but it can also be a self-boosting defense mechanism. So, you may have been treated lowly and therefore you boost yourself. Now, myself, this is absolutely me. I won't let nobody talk me down. I never have and I never will. Now, this may not be so much as a self defense mechanism, but if I deem you, like if you criticize me, you have to prove that you're equal to me. And the first thing I'm going to demand is to see your bank account. And if you shuffle and you shift around and you shimmy and you shake and you just don't go into your phone app and say, well, here's my millions, where are yours, ancient one? I'm not taking you seriously. You're going to criticize me, but you broke just like me? No. You're going to criticize me, but you in debt? No. You're going to criticize me with no savings? No. You're going to criticize me, you work a job? No. You're going to criticize me, but you're just like me? Maybe worse than me because you bent the knee, you got those kids, you got all kinds of problems. You short like me, ugly like me, no teeth, no, thick glasses, all kinds of problems. You and me, we're just the same, bro. We're just the same, my friend. I'm not taking criticism from you. Absolutely. Absolutely not. No, 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 no. I'm not taking criticism from anyone unless the first thing I want to see is your bank account. Now, this could be a self-boosting defense mechanism, perhaps. But I'm not taking criticism from someone with no money. And that's number one. That's number one. And I know 90% of the world got no money, so there you go. Right? That's literally the value of your criticism to me is equal to your bank account. And I know this economy is drumming you like an African bass drum, just beating you all day, all night. Crashing onto you like the waves crash on the shore. This economy is blending you into a pasta sauce. When they're done bending you, man, blending you down, you're gonna look like a Indian curry sauce without the chicken, right? This economy is gonna mess you up, and I'm not even playing. I'm not even playing. So you're gonna come criticize me and induce my self-boosting defense mechanism. First thing I wanna see is your bank account. Otherwise, I don't wanna hear it. I'm not getting criticized by somebody who gotta pull out a bank account to buy a loaf of bread. No. A credit card. I beg your pardon. You know, people who buy groceries on credit, you're pulling out a credit card to buy groceries. I'm not hearing that. I'm not hearing that. You're buying an apple that's going to go bad in 3 days to pay interest on it for 3 months. I'm not listening to any of you people. But we have some key solutions for your problem. American psychologist Nancy Irvin, it could be Dr. Irvin, illuminates the unique role of parents in this regard. Since the seed of princess syndromes are sown during childhood, parents need to be more aware of this. I wonder if, I'm not saying I do, but if there's a small, tiny possibility that someone like me, the ancient one, the bachelor supreme, the master of the deceptive arts, could even suffer this type of syndrome. I mean, just imagine if you can, for a moment, right? Just focus on that moment. If I was even possible of receiving something like Prince syndrome, which they described earlier on. Could it be possible that I developed it in childhood? I did develop my sense of bachelorhood from childhood. I always knew I was going to be a bachelor. I never once wanted to get married. Ever since I was a kid. You cannot imagine what it's like arguing with these people trying to tell them, hey man, I just want to get a vasectomy. First chance I get, right? You can't explain that to people as a child. They tell you you don't know what you do. So if my bachelorhood developed as a child, could it then stand to reason that if such a thing was even possible, that it could happen to someone like me? Not saying that it can't, but it's very unlikely. Very, very small chance, less than 1%, right? Is that a possibility? And if we did travel back in time, if somebody traveled back in time to try prevent this content from coming out for fear of future reprisals and consequences of a world full of vasectomites, would they go to my childhood and try to convince me to bend the knee? That would be troubling. This is why time travel is illegal. Children should be praised for their hard work, talent, and intelligence, only if they demonstrate it through hard work. Care must also be taken that excessive admiration of external appearance never creates a sense of pride in them. Good luck with that. Telling somebody they look good and they look beautiful, they look amazing, yeah, that always creates a sense of pride. You're not getting past that. It happens to everyone. This is why, by the way, counterparts never give you compliments. For those men that are wondering why counterparts never compliment men, they rather criticize you all day. Because for them, a compliment is a sense of pride, right? So if they're giving you a compliment, they believe they are inducing in you a sense of pride, and thereby removing pride away from them, right? Or stature or status away from them. This is why counterparts never, and if they do give you a compliment, it's just the rudest, most disgusting thing you've ever heard, right? It's like they'll say, oh, you think you're special now because you made $1 million, ancient one, from your YouTube platform, but your member is inferior. And it's like, how do you go from my YouTube platform to discussing genitalia? I mean, don't get me wrong. I built an entire platform discussing genitalia, but I don't insult you with it. Not not entirely. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't go from, oh, you got a degree to genitalia, unless your degree wasn't genitalia. You know what I'm saying? But like this is the depth that they'll go to, right? It's desperate and pathetic. But here I am quoting names, so you know, they're my words coming straight back at me. Not being pushed into unhealthy peer competition can also play a positive role here. Unhealthy peer competition is when they put you in a situation where they know you're going to lose, right? This is your parents again shielding you from responsibility and the consequences of your own accountability, right? If they don't put you in what they call unhealthy competition, that's competition where there's only one winner, which is real life. You can also be extra careful when addressing this. For example, it is better not to unnecessarily call princess, goddess, diva, etc. So it is better to not unnecessarily call someone a princess, a goddess, or a diva, and that kind of thing. Isn't this exactly what certain internet type of knee benders were accused of doing? The Grand Rising Queen band, you know, all of you were singing that Grand Rising Queen song, and all you did was escalate the effects of princess syndrome, right? And enhance those effects. It can make children feel that they are of a higher level than others, and as a result, princess syndrome can be born in them. Make people feel like they're a higher level. You mean like Bachelor Supreme? You mean like the master of the deceptive arts? Oh man, this article is you know, are they sure they're writing about princesses here? I don't know. I don't know. You know, if Prince syndrome is exactly the same thing, I may have more than one condition. I mean, I was pretty comfortable as a narcissist, you know, but it appears there might be another layer to this whole thing, right? But yes, it can make children feel like they are more superior to others, and as a result, princess syndrome can be born in them. So you could be born with princess syndrome? Could I be born with Prince syndrome? Can somebody be born a narcissist? You know, I think you are actually born a narcissist. I don't think you can become one. I think there are people who are genuinely repelled by narcissistic tendencies and behaviors. So if you're drawn to them, I think it's quite instinctual. You know, like selfishness. It's I mean you kinda have it or you don't. It's like you know what it's like, selfishness, narcissism. For people who aren't narcissists, people who wonder what it's like to lack empathy, it's like it's like this. It's like there are some people who like chocolate only, there are some people who like vanilla only, and there are some people who like both chocolate and vanilla. Then there are those who like both chocolate and vanilla separately, and there are those who like chocolate and vanilla together. Now, how do you know you're a narcissist? It's like trying vanilla and not liking it, and then trying chocolate and not liking it, and then trying vanilla and chocolate together and then loving it, and being like, why don't they make this a flavor? Because it's not a flavor, it's a condition, right? So that's how what narcissists are like. Like, I see what you're doing, it sucks. I see what you're doing, it sucks. I try something completely different that most people just don't understand, and I'm like, this is glorious. That's what it's like. It's like finding your own inner peace. It's like finding that piece of the puzzle that clicks and ignites an explosion inside. An explosion inside, right? Where are we? We are parents must help a person grow up confident, I don't think I suffer from that. However, it is also essential to maintain this balance so that this confidence does not cross over into self-centeredness and the denigration of others. Denigration of others, I'm completely against. Self-centeredness, I can live with that. This is the end of the article, right? A very insightful article. I saw a few mistakes here and there, but I found the information, quite frankly, to be grounding. And for those of you that are going out trying to celebrate your birthdays, right? The birthday boys, the birthday girls, the Mr. Party, the Miss Party. I want you to remember this information, right? And the next time you're standing there watching a circle of people sing and clap in your honor for the fact that you were born, just think about that. This is the problem with birthdays. You're here celebrating the fact that you were born. Do you know how you were born? I don't even want to get into the discussion of how you were made. I'm sure you can find that out. Right? I'm sure you can find that out. But here we are celebrating this. I really think that you should reconsider what you do on your birthday. Better to just meditate and maybe read The Art of War so you can get some insight and some depth in you. But if you're lighting candles and blowing them up, perhaps you too are suffering from Prince or Princess syndrome. Nothing says to me, there's no bigger indication of a person who doesn't want to let go of childishness than a person who gets upset that you didn't acknowledge their birthday. I didn't acknowledge, you didn't wish me happy birthday. I didn't wish you happy birthday. I didn't acknowledge you on your birthday. You're 40 years old, 35 years old, 45 years old. You want me to stop my life so I can sing and clap for you once every single year, 45 times, 47 times? It's too much. It's too much for anyone. For children, it's absolutely fantastic. But as for adults, it's quite problematic. So please consider this. Consider this the next time you want to throw yourself a birthday party. I'm the Ancient One, the Bachelor Supreme. Thank you again for your time and your attention. And as usual, I appreciate it and I always will. And I say that every video because I mean it from my heart. Thank you for your time and your attention. Please have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day.